Reading something I saw on Twitter.
Okay.
Norway women's handball team
Mm-hmm.
fined for wearing shorts instead of bikini bottoms.
Yep.
That is so dumb. When the dudes
They got
on the
on
team,
full
t-shirt,
basketball
undershirt,
shorts. It looks like basketball
yeah,
shorts and a
uh,
tank top.
that is insane.
Yep. And it's in the rules for the women. They can only wear 10
The bikini,
centimeter bottoms.
that is insane. That is crazy. And then, but the pictures that they chose, they got on the tops covering themselves at the
Sports bra.
tops, sports bra. Yeah, I couldn't think of the word, and the biker shorts, which still
It's still over sexualized.
right is still because this is the same sort of outfit that I think gymnasts should be able to wear.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're still revealing and they're like, nope, we
We
got to
want
see
to see butt
butt.
cheeks.
Right. And crotch. That is and then they got a picture of the men's team. That is banana.
And they're like, we'll pay this $1,700. Sure will.
That is crazy.
But I
I
bet
went
if other teams start doing it, then they'll rewrite those rules.
and the reason why I brought it up, I thought they were the Olympics, but they're just a team.
Yeah, I think it's like a preamble to. It's
Okay.
like the European Championships or something, like the
Okay.
prep before going to the Olympics, I guess, something
Okay.
like that.
Well, I guess we're into the show.
Well, the
Uh,
thing is, sure, I mean, we might as well go ahead and get into it. I'm in the midst of trying to resend the show link to our Patreon supporters because this show is for
support.
them. And I thought I could go in. Oh, notify patrons about change. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I want to do this
I gotta
again.
find 100, and it wouldn't even. Well, to them it's 1,500 euros, but to us it's 175, $176. That is insane.
Yeah.
While male players can wear shorts that extend to 10 centimeters above
Above
the
the knee.
kneecap,
Yeah.
female athletes must wear bikini bottoms that are in accordance with the enclosed graph. They even got a graph with a closed fit and cut on an upward angle toward the top of the leg, adding that the maximum side width is 10 centimeters of the little side strap.
Yep. They
That
want to see
is
cheeks and they want to see
that is
crotch.
and thigh and ass
They
and
want to
crotch.
see it all. They don't
That
care about
is
the men. They want to
that
see
is
the women.
that is
Because
bananas.
people are like, why
Bananas.
don't they let the guys do this?
Because they don't want to. Who wants to show all their body playing sports?
Right. I mean, and you're diving in like sand and you're jumping and falling over. I mean, and these women are quite thin and very fit, so they don't have, some of the extra, I guess, curves, so to
And they're not
speak.
swimming.
Right. For
People's like,
stuff to
well,
fall. Right.
men wear the tight, small suits. I'm like, they're swimmers. It's a
And the women
swimsuit.
wear swimsuits that are cut the same way as the men's. They just have the upper part because we have upper part. That's not
Right,
a comparison.
right.
And then I was reading some of the comments on one of the articles that I saw, and they were like, nobody wants to see the men's butts. And I'm like,
That is the
that's it.
problem,
That's the
stupid.
problem. Yes.
Nobody wants nobody.
Yeah.
That is crazy that the rules said they had. Man, that's
And
anyway.
which team was it? What country?
European Handball Federation for the I guess the team that actually got fined was Norwegian.
Okay.
Norway. Is it Norway?
Yeah,
Or
Norway.
Okay.
Put that in the notes. Okay, so we kind of just jumped in this week because we were having some technical difficulties, and while we were waiting for that, we just started talking. So, welcome to the Snobbish Show. Welcome to the live show for our Patreon supporters. Thank you for supporting the show, which allows us to bring you new and exclusive content every week. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So we will continue on with the show. New NBA world champion. Did you watch the game? Any thoughts, any feelings?
I watched it. I did not have a dog in the fight, but I did want to see Chris Paul win a trophy because it was either now or never. Because next year the Lakers ain't having it. They ain't going out like they did this year. The Nets, the Nets are not going out like they did this year. Milwaukee's going to be back. Philly is not want to go out with the way they want to, so they're going to be back next year. The Hawks are going to come up. On the West, Portland is not going to go out that way. They're going to try harder. The Clippers aren't having it like that. Again, I mentioned the Lakers, who everybody assumed it was going to be Lakers versus the Nets anyway.
Yeah.
You got the Warriors, who are going to have Klay Thompson back, and they're pretty sure they're going to add to their arsenal to make a run because they almost beat the Lakers in the playoff or the play-in, whatever that thing was called before the playoffs. You got Memphis with in the West. Again, got Memphis on the rise. You got Dallas on the rise. So all that to say, there's so
This was
much
his shot.
competition. This was his shot this year. They were able to, through whatever reason, because of injury, because of the weird schedule due to COVID, all those things kind of created the perfect storm for the Suns to get to where they were, and they just did not have enough to defeat Giannis. Once he decided
He was
I'm
ready
going
to
to take
win.
over these games. Once he made that decision, you could see it. They went down 2-0. They
After that second game, you could see it.
right, they switch and they won 4 in a row.
Yeah.
That ain't a sweep, but I mean, winning 4 in a row, down 0-2 in the finals, that's a feat. And like you mentioned, as soon as Giannis decided to turn it on, they had no they couldn't do anything
recourse.
about it. Yep.
And I'm the same as you. I was rooting for Chris Paul. I wanted him to prepare, start preparing his exit as a champion. So it's really sad for him. But at the same time, Giannis, I mean, I've listened to some of his interviews lately, and he's, a pretty smart, thoughtful dude. So I can't hate it.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, I didn't have a dog in the fight. Milwaukee did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
We were surprised that the Hawks got as far as they did and pushed them to game 6, I think, as well. I can't remember how many games
Was it
they
6
played
or 7?
against.
Did they
I
not
don't
go
know if
all
it
the
was
way?
game 7. I don't think it was game 7.
Okay.
But the Hawks pushed them again, like you said. Of course, Giannis got injured, but they won the games that Giannis was injured in anyway. So I think between the Hawks, not embarrassing, but putting up more of an effort than people thought they were, and them going down 0-2 for the against the Suns. I think whatever woke Giannis up, that woke him up, and he decided to I'm just going to score 30 and 40 points
And 50 in
right,
game
and
6.
points, no matter how tired I am, because I was watching the game and was like, you can visibly see Giannis is dead tired.
They said he was sick and he had to get IV fluids or something right before game time.
Whatever. I'm trying to win. So knowing I can see him over there gassed. What big men don't do is play a lot of defense. Now, don't get me wrong, Giannis blocked all those shots, but that's just like spurt things. It's like, boom, this is like a football thing. You do that hard spurt for 3 to 5 seconds, and then you get to chill. What teams don't do enough against big men is really, really, really make them play defense. So what I was yelling at the TV about was, he's over there tired, exploit the fact that he's tired, have him running around in circles, trying to chase his defender, have that be the decoy, they pass it off to somebody else, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, whoever, they score. But the dude who Giannis is supposed to be playing defense on. I don't care if he switch off, whatever. Whoever Giannis is supposed to be checking,
Run
dribble,
him like the speed
until he
racer.
is dead
Yeah.
tired. And then that way, at the end of the game, he doesn't have the gas. But again, they don't do that because DeAndre Ayton is not that type of big dude.
Yeah.
Now if there was a Porzingis or Embiid, somebody that could actually move as a big man, that would be a different case. But I don't see why teams don't exploit weaknesses in games. And I'll say one thing, I'll let you one more thing with the foul trouble in the last game. Chris Middleton, who ended up being a big contributor in the last 2 minutes, 3 minutes of the game, hitting them free throws, hitting them jump shots, he was about to be in foul trouble. I would have been like, "Yo,
foul me."
Game. I'm not a coach. Look, I'm not a sports professional. This is just my thoughts. But exploit. If you can't beat a team squared straight up, because they can't, exploit
the weakness.
Exploit. Yeah. And I don't think Suns did that enough. And as a result, Milwaukee wins. So hats off to them.
Yeah, and I don't know. They didn't seem like the same team that they were in the first two games. I don't know if they were feeling a little bit defeated because they were winning back to back, or just Giannis was just running them the way he was. And honestly, based on his performance, I don't know if there was anything they could have done to deter this dude, because he was like, "I'm Terminator, I'm on a mission, and it is nothing that nobody can do to stop me."
You're right, but I ain't gonna go down for not trying, right?
Yeah.
Another thing they could have did, which they did not do until too late. Everybody, I don't care who beats us. If Middleton shoots us to death, if Drew Holiday shoots us down, all their players can shoot. They are going to have to make their shots. As soon as Giannis get the ball, we're sending not one, but two other people at him. Somebody else is going to beat us. If they beat us anyway, you saw what the game plan was. We failed at the game plan, but what we're not about to do is play straight up, because Giannis made DeAndre Ayton look soft out there. I mean, soft. Score 50 on you as a big man. They don't do that.
Yeah.
That's unheard of, where big men score 50 points like that. It's a shooter's game, and the fact that they let that dude just pound down like that, I mean, like you said, maybe there wasn't nothing they could do.
I don't know if we've seen that dominant of play from a big man like that since maybe Shaq.
Right. Now you see Embiid do it, but he's all over the court, right?
Yeah.
He's shooting jumpers. He can shoot threes. He's kind of finesse.
But a true big man.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll bring it back. Maybe Embiid will kind of pound it a little bit more, because like I said, he's kind of a finesse type player. Same thing with Porzingis. I know he's big and lanky, but still, I mean, you see a big dude score 50. There's no reason why I can't either.
Yeah. And it's got to be some ego in there too. Like, yo, if he not going to show me up, he not going to have me out here looking stupid.
Right. Yeah. Out here shooting threes.
Right. I mean, just straight drilling them.
Yep.
But it was definitely, the NBA season this year was probably one of the best in a long time. And I don't necessarily believe that the ratings are indicative of a season, but the ratings for the NBA regular season and for the playoffs was up from, previous years. So I think, we may be back in the, prime time NBA, world of, world-class basketball that everybody is tuning into, because there's so many new faces, so many new teams are in the mix. It's not just the same folks over and over and over again. So I'm looking forward to see what we get next year. I'm sure those guys are chilling, and the Bucks are probably chilling and celebrating. Everybody else is probably back to work already.
Well, so two things, and we can move on to the next story. Giannis, Chris Middleton, and Devin Booker are playing for the Team USA for the Olympics. So they all together are getting on a plane to go
Tokyo.
to Tokyo for the Olympics. So number one, that's going to be an awkward plane ride to where they got destroyed 4 games in a row. Now y'all got to be buddy buddy. I mean, of course, I'm pretty sure
All those dudes are
it's all
friends, or
business.
yeah. It's not like
It's
old school basketball where they
right,
literally
right.
hated each other.
Right. But that's going to be at to have to do it so soon, right? Because of the truncated season. In previous years, when, like you said, when players really really hate each other, they had time to cool off. Because the finals are normally done by early mid June. So you got like a good month and a half to cool off before you have to turn back around and go to the Olympics. Well, this year, the finals game was on Tuesday. On Friday, they got to get on the plane. So
Yeah.
that's number one. And number two, to go on what you were saying about next year should be a good regular season for the NBA. I'll take personally, and it's kind of ties in what we kind of talked about before the show even ran. I'm going to definitely be watching a lot of basketball during the regular season and a lot less NFL during the regular season because, number one, like I mentioned before, all these teams that didn't get it to the finals, the Lakers, the Nets, the Clippers, all these teams that we just knew were going to go farther and did not. It'll be an interesting season to see. Okay, LeBron was claiming that, he made some points about look at what happened to the season because it was all off. Everybody's injured. You had Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, you had James Harden,
AD.
you had Anthony Davis, you had James Harden, you had Kevin Durant, you had Kyrie Irving. All these people that we thought was going to make it to the top didn't. So now we'll see. Now they've got all this time to rest. It'll be an interesting season to see. You get Klay Thompson back. All these elite players that was injured for whatever reason for this season, they'll be back. So it'll be interesting games. That's number one. Number two, the reason why I'm going to watch it is because I'm going to watch a lot less NFL.
Yeah.
Because like we mentioned, NFL is still trying to dance around their issues as it relates to race. And one of the things they've tried to do to sweep everything under the rug is they've decided that they're going to perform the Lift Every Voice and Sing, which we call the Black National Anthem, the Negro National Anthem. So they're going to be making a concerted effort to sing or perform that at a lot of these NFL games. So I think the consensus I saw on the internet is, number one, we didn't ask for this.
Nope.
Number two, there's a million other things you could be doing.
Hire more black coaches in head coaching spots. Opening it up to more ownership from black and brown people.
Atone for the
way you did Kaepernick.
Right. Atone for the way you did Kaepernick. Atone for the story that came out that the NFL was not forcing, but they made black NFL players who got concussions. They had to prove a larger metric. I don't know if that's the right word, but they had to go through extra hoops to prove that they had concussions or concussions as a result of playing in the NFL to receive payouts than their white counterparts. So white counterparts didn't have to do as much to prove that they had concussions to get large payouts. Black players had to do more to prove that they had issues from concussions, still didn't get paid as much. So all of that they could be doing, but they're like,
but here we are. Let's sing a song.
Yeah.
No, bruh. Nobody asked for that.
So all that to say, I'm going to be watching more in NBA during the regular season, because normally I will do like NCAA. Wouldn't watch NCAA all that much at all until March Madness.
Yeah.
Then I'd be plugged in. Same thing in NBA. I would watch some highlights on YouTube, see what people are talking about to make sure I'm stay conversation ready. But really wouldn't watch the NBA until the finals start. Well, I'm making a concerted effort this year to watch more NBA season games and watch less NFL games.
Exactly. Olympics, as you mentioned, the basketball teams players who are on the Team USA are heading over later this week. But there are a lot of athletes who are catching COVID. Coco Gauff,
Mhm.
tennis phenom, she got COVID. She can't go. A couple of the women's U.S. gymnastics alternates have COVID, but they had to quarantine the whole team because they were all in close proximity. You got other basketball players, I believe, who are catching COVID as
Mhm.
well. They
Mhm.
got them sleeping on cardboard beds to prevent them from having sex.
Which is totally dumb in and of itself.
Right.
These athletes will find another more athletic way to have sex than
If
to
people
lay
want
on
to
a
get it
bed.
in, they shall get it in. And the biggest thing is family members can't come. Folks in Japan who live there, they can't
Mm.
go to any of the events because they've shut it down so that nobody can be in the venues because COVID is still running rampant. This Delta variant is still kicking people's butt and taking people out faster who are unvaccinated than the original version of COVID because, again, this is a living and breathing virus that mutates and changes. And the scientists, they're already tired. They done gave you 3, 4 vaccines and y'all still won't take them. So,
And I just read another thing that two players have been confirmed positive for COVID inside the Olympic Village. That's the village where everybody comes to where they're supposed to, like where these cardboard beds are. They're supposed to be where their little bubble. Well, inside the bubble, two players have all already been uh, 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 tested positive for COVID after testing negative after leaving their home country.
so
So
they got it when they
continue.
got there.
Right.
So, all that to say, do you think they should cancel the games? Because I did see some statement or article on Twitter. I didn't fully read it fully. I saw the headline, and they were saying that Tokyo still could cancel the games because opening ceremonies have not been held. But do
Mhm.
you think they should wait to cancel it? Do you think they should take the wait and see approach? Or what are your thoughts?
It's impossible to cancel it, even though I think they should. They should just cancel it and not even cancel it for 4 years. Just do it next year, and then for 4 years, just change the times. Next year they have it, and then 4 years from then they have it. They
Or
don't
just
have to
have it
do
3 years later.
right
So
or
do it, hold it next year, and to
right.
keep with the schedule,
Do
you
it three
you
years
won't have
later.
4 years in between. You just have what's the difference? What's a year gonna make when you
Right,
have still 3 years left to prepare and get ready for the next
right,
games?
right. Do that. I'm pretty sure it's impossible because you know. Tokyo wants to make their money back for all the time they've spent and all the money they've invested in putting in infrastructure, all the things you have to do to host an Olympics. And while they won't get ticket sales from fans, well, they won't get as much ticket sales from fans because of all the COVID and protocols and less people and social distancing, all that thing. They probably will get some money from the brand, from the broadcasts, from the TV deals. I'm pretty sure. I don't know how that works. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Is
They
it
will
is it
get
just
some money back.
NBC? I think it's NBC is the.
Well, ads, ad
Oh
revenue,
yeah, that's
things of
true.
that nature. I'm pretty sure they're going to see some of their money back. They may not see all of it back, but there's no way that they're just going to cancel and leave Tokyo on the hook.
But if
Unfair
you
to
do it, if
Tokyo.
you postpone it until next year, all the
They can.
infrastructure, all the
Oh
stuff
yeah,
is still
yeah,
there.
true, true. And you're going to have
So
it at Tokyo
you'll just
anyway.
have a
True,
delayed. Would you
true,
rather have a delay in getting all your
true.
money, or
Absolutely.
would you want to be in the hole for doing it now and being
Or
responsible for killing all these
right, that's what I was
people
going to
and
say.
all these
Or
athletes who need their lungs to jump and run and
that's what I
flip
was
and
going to
swim
say.
and all that stuff?
Do you postpone it a year, or do you live forever with the shame that's going to come with all the possible bad news that may come out of this year's Olympic Games?
Yeah.
It's a microcosm of a macro issue with this Delta variant that you mentioned. We are not closing this country back down.
Nope. I don't
So
think so either.
if you look at Tokyo Olympics and take that and use that to put it on the larger thought that nobody wants to say, this Delta variant is going to, the numbers are already rising in the hospitals. Nobody wants to say it out loud, but there could be a possibility. The same thing the Tokyo statement was, we still have time to cancel the Olympics. Well, nobody wants to say it, but there is a possibility that we may have to consider going back to lockdown, and ain't no way we're
They,
going back.
especially United States, first of all, Georgia never shut down, Florida never shut
Right.
down. And Cam was
Yeah,
definitely
we're good. We're good.
on the struggle bus. She did not want to
Yeah.
reopen. Every time she was like, nope, I'm just gonna spin and spin and not respond. Okay, but
All right. All right.
I think we're back. And where we left off was,
We were talking about the Olympics. Should it be
oh yeah,
canceled?
should it be canceled?
Right.
And I think we both
Yeah.
agree that it
So,
should be canceled for this
but it's
year
not.
and postponed until next year, maybe.
Mhm. I mean, it seems like that would be the logical choice, right? To let's figure out what we're going to do with this Delta variant. Let's see what happens with that. Hopefully, that comes and we get some sort of control over it. Um, some sort, being the operative word, because we over here in America, I don't know how it is over in Tokyo. I don't know how it is over in other countries, but we are still struggling to get to 70% of people vaccinated, and that's without the Delta variant.
Right.
So, according to what I've heard and read, the Delta variant travels faster, is more contagious, and it's hitting people who some people have already been vaccinated, if I'm hearing and reading
Yep.
correctly.
But I
So,
think it's more harmful, of course, to folks who
of
don't
course it
have
is.
it. But they were
Right.
like, you can walk by somebody who has the Delta variant and catch it in like 5 to 10 seconds.
Wow. So,
It's
yeah.
insane.
And especially for people who don't have eligible folks who can be vaccinated. We're talking kids under the age of 12, which I have two of them. So even though I'm okay, since this is more contagious, it's not far fetched to say I could bring it home and give it to my unvaccinated people. Even though the CDC says, well, people who are vaccinated have nothing to worry about. Well, it's still
Don't believe
contagious,
it.
though. Still atypical.
Yeah.
Not atypical. Is that? That's not the right word. Anyway, asymptomatic. I said atypical.
I mean, I think it still fits. And I think school starts back in 2 weeks?
Well, for us anyway, starts back in August. We've got a decision to make. I think to catch you up, I think because people don't know how to act, the same reason why me and my wife got vaccinated, we are probably going to move forward with, at the very least, getting my oldest daughter, who was 13, vaccinated before school. Because again, we can send her to school, she can wear her mask all day long, but they're kids.
Yeah.
Even though they're adolescents, even though they're tweens and early teenagers,
They're still children.
they're still children, and you don't want to deprive them of being a kid. But at the same time, you do want to make sure that they're protected, and we want to protect them as much as possible and say, hey, let's stay at home this year again. But I mean, we're depriving them of being kids.
Yeah.
So,
And why should these children suffer because some adults can't get their stuff together?
can't get or don't want to.
Don't want to.
Yeah.
Are being, what's the word I'm looking for? They're being willfully, non-compliant. Not because
Right.
they don't have access to the vaccine, not because they don't have access to masks or
Not
hand
'cause they don't
sanitizer.
access to information.
Right. It's just they don't want to.
Right. And then, but you always see those stories on the news, which make me, as sad as it is, call me shallow, call me insensitive, but I don't want to see any more news stories where somebody's sitting in a hospital bed with all these tubes hanging out of them saying, learn from my lessons.
Learn from my loved one, my
Yeah,
mom, get the vaccine.
I didn't take it seriously until I got the vaccine. I'm like, I'm my condolences, and I hope you get better. But at the same time, it's like, enough.
I don't even have any condolences. I mean, call me heartless. But they know exactly what this is. And they are choosing And like they said, this is my right, this is my choice. Yes, it is your choice.
Mm-hmm.
And if you die from it or get gravely ill from it or have lingering ailments and
Mm-hmm.
symptoms from it, that's your choice. You chose
Right.
this life.
Yep, exactly. Another thing, unrelated but related to what we're talking about now, is COVID, which we always end up talking about.
Yes.
I saw French is the prime minister over there, Macron, I think is his
Yes.
name. I think he put out a statement to where all unvaccinated people can't go to restaurants, they can't go to events. Um, there's a couple of things that they can't do, and he's like, I'm tired. What we're to your point, what we're not about to do is make people who have decided to
Do the right
uh,
thing.
do the right thing should not have to suffer because some of you don't. So we're not forcing you, and I'm paraphrasing. We're not forcing you to get the vaccination rather. But if you don't get it, you can't do any of these list of things. And he listed like 4 or 5 or 6 different things that most people want to do: go to restaurants, go to movies, go to events, things of that nature. So I mean, of course, America would lose its lid if they tried that over here, but I don't know where do we go from here if we can't get people, if there's just people who are just dead set against it, and but they are not going to stay at home. Where do we go? What do we
What
do?
can you
What's
do?
the next step?
And the thing is, a lot of people are saying that, oh, the vaccination rate isn't going up. Well, duh. Well, duh. Because people don't want to get the vaccine. So the
Right.
people who already have the vaccine,
Hmm.
those folks are, you do you not know how math works? It's
Right.
percentages.
Right.
And if there's a percentage of people who refuse to get the vaccine, then the overall vaccination rate is not going to go up because people are not getting it and they have access to it. And I'm of the mindset at this point, there are, I think, the whole continent of Africa may be 1% vaccinated. If the people
Hmm.
here don't want it, give it to somebody who does.
Right.
Send it on. Why
Yep.
are they
Yep.
sitting there wasting, having to be
Yep.
thrown away or discarded? Because
Yep.
people here are too stupid. Yes, I
Right.
called you
You
stupid.
said it.
Do I need to drop my pen? I can do
Right.
that too. But if you are unwilling to get this vaccine, which you have free access to, give it to
Uh-huh.
somebody who wants it.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So yeah. And the last thing in the snobbish show, Jeff Bezos did a space drive-by odyssey
Right.
for a whole 10 minutes, and this
Hmm.
includes takeoff and descent. He went
That took
to,
the whole thing with 10 minutes.
yes,
Wow, I
it
did not
took
know that.
quote unquote space. So they
Right.
said it was like $2.8 million per second. I mean, per minute.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Right. I did not know that the entire thing
was 10
was 10
minutes.
minutes
Yes.
from start to landing, from takeoff to landing. I thought it was maybe 10 minutes, from orbit to landing. They had to get out there first. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's funny. Space drive-by Odyssey. I saw somebody say, well, I had it. Almost space. They said space adjacent. I saw all those funny little quips as far as this space travel.
Yeah. And as you mentioned last week, when, what's the dude,
Richard
Branson, went
Branson,
up
yeah,
there, you were talking about, just the tip.
just
Well,
a tip.
the actual space
Space,
shuttle that
right?
Bezos was in
Hmm.
looked quite
Galactic,
penile.
yeah. That had to be on purpose.
Of
That
course.
had to be on purpose because
Because
there's
people
no
call
way.
him
Right.
and
Uh-huh.
yeah.
There's no way nobody looks at that and be like, "Hey, uh, I have a new item on our next team meeting that we need to address." So, yeah, that was clearly on. There's no way they overlooked that fact. No way. There's no way. No
No.
possible way.
They knew. And then when they landed, it was only the tip that landed.
Right. So literally,
That came back.
just the
Yes,
tip went out
literally.
in space.
Yeah. And then his whole, so once we get onto the regular show, I'll mention it there. But this whole thing by the media was just like he had like a press conference after they took
Mhm.
questions.
Mhm.
Apparently there's some vehicle that they were saying this whole thing was really commercial for this truck that kind of carried the team to the thing. And
Okay. Oh, so they use that as a opportunity to promote something.
right, it was basically a vehicle, a truck,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
that was brand new. I guess I don't know if they made it or whatever. It's some weird
Uh-huh.
name, starts with an R. I really wasn't paying too much attention to it.
Rivian.
Yes,
Yes. Uh-huh.
because I wasn't paying attention to it. But yeah, so they had this whole press conference, and he stood up and said, it's because of the Amazon employees and the Amazon customers.
Because you're paid for this. Yeah.
You paid for this. I think those employees would rather have the money in their pockets than to
Right.
pay for your vanity project, which is essentially what it was.
Right. Right.
Because it wasn't anything groundbreaking, because we have actually NASA that, they don't just go to the edge of space. They go all the way in it.
Right.
Somebody
They go.
walked on the moon. They
Right.
got rovers on Mars.
Right. Right.
So it's not
Did,
like you did something groundbreaking.
mhm. Did you that you brought up a good you brought up something that I wanted to talk about and totally forgot. Did you see the comments by the older guy? I think it was maybe NBC, but Gail King was out in the field, doing her reporting at the site of Jeff Bezos' space launch, and she was talking to people back in the news desk, and there was a black gentleman, older guy. I don't know who you had never seen before in my life, but the Gail King asked the question, and he said it two times. He said it first, and then she asked, and then he said it again. Her question was, what benefit or what does this mean for people? What does this mean for the future technology? I don't know the exact words, but that was like the gist of it. And this brother said on two occasions, he said, this means that all those people out there watching the landing, he mentioned this little black boy that he picked out of all these people in this that was in there. That means one less black boy on the corner with a gun that's going to rob somebody, because this means that all these people are now interested, specifically black boys, they're interested in, they reinvigorated this new interest in space travel. So that's one more thing that black, I'll have to find the quote and give it to you, but specifically that's what he said. That means one black boy interested in space travel means one less black boy on the corner with a gun, with intents to rob somebody.
You gotta be you lying, right?
Nope, it's not a quote. He said it two times, because he said it first while Gail King was talking before she could completely finish her thought, and then once she finished, he said it again. Like, I don't think you heard me.
He thought he was saying something.
Like the only two options for black boys is
Space or guns.
interested in space or on the corner to rob people. Those are only two options we got.
And if the little black boy was already interested in space, that's not going to change some kid that's on the corner who don't have no money, who feels he has to rob somebody.
Right. He's not gonna be like, oh yeah, you know what? There is some other brother out there. Let me go see what he's doing. No,
That is
I'm
not
gonna
how
find it.
any of
I'm gonna
that
find the
works.
quote and put it in the show notes. Make sure we get it in so y'all can see it. Like, I'm not making this up. I saw it and I was like, it's
How did
insane.
Twitter not pick this up?
That's where I found it. I found it on Twitter.
Nobody on my timeline was talking about this at all.
I'm gonna find it and send it to you.
Holy Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
Yep. This is from a brother, mind you, not from some out of touch, ignorant, anybody else. A brother who you would think would could think bigger than that. Could think more broadly than that.
Right.
Hmm. Sure did.
I have I don't have any thoughts.
Sure did. Sure did.
I'm quite speechless at this current moment, and I don't even
Sure did.
I
So I
and
just
on that note, I
right.
think we are done with the
For the
live
show.
show.
Right.
I think we are going to put a pin in it
Right.
right there.
We're gonna pause so Nikki can open up her text messages and look at this video while
And
we
get my
decide
thoughts
whether
together
right.
because I cannot. Okay, so thank you everybody for tuning in to the Snobbish Show. Thank you for being a Patreon of our show, which allows us to bring you this content. Apologies for our technical difficulties on today. We'll hopefully Ecam will be better and not just give up